Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Go. That's crazy. There, and we are ready. Disclaimer up there. Anybody that likes to you know the risk and all of that good stuff. All right, so let's jump out here to our see what the watch list is looking like. Watch list right there. Nope, that's the wrong one. Where is that watch list? Interesting. Well, right now on the watch list, what's leading is DFCS. It's up 35%, 14 million shares traded. I'm not seeing any catalyst for that. And then we have YWAI was number 2. Then below that was IVF. And below that, some things are starting to go red. So these are the top 3. Studio. Good morning, Hebrew. Why is my to the right? Oh, there it is. Okay. I was about to say, my thing is tripping. All right, so here it is. This is my watch list that I'm looking for at the low floats. And yeah, not a whole lot of big movement. Now, I was talking to Donnell yesterday in the Discord, and I referenced that today is a crossover day. It's the last day of the month. It's Friday, and it's Halloween. And so there's a lot of crossover today that we're gonna see what happens. Wednesday, no trade day. Thursday, no trade day. The stock that I was gonna trade, that I had formulated the trade, I would have made money on, was blocked. It was a Chinese stock. It was ARBB, right? So let me flip over to that. I didn't even know the trading was blocked on this one yesterday. Let's jump over here. So right here, I was watching it to form some type of ideas that will hold. And I was thinking, hey, I think this thing can hold $7. It got down here and came down here and continued to hit this little bottom here. And on this hit here, it made a higher low. And I was like, hey, if this thing starts holding 7, I'm gonna go ahead and get in. So it started holding 7. I bought right at like $6.99, and I got a message from TOS that said, hey, trading is blocked on this ticker. And it just continued to rise up. So from 7, it went up to 763, went up here to 780. So that would have been my target, which was 30 cents. And I was right on that. But TOS was blocking this trade. So yeah, I mean, if they didn't block this trade, I definitely would have had this trade yesterday. Definitely would have had 30 cents in pocket and would have been looking okay. A nice dollar move from 7 to 8. But anyway, this was a Singapore stock, so I was kind of hesitant on it anyway during pre-market because of that. I was going to see how it was going to hold, and that's why it took me so long. I just watched it throughout this move because at the very beginning of the market open, I usually don't touch anything. But then when it started to kind of level out and we start to see this idea continue to hold and then form a higher low in here, I was like, okay, let's do it. But it is what it is. No trade on yesterday or Wednesday. So I guess I just call it a mental trade. That was a mental success. Anyway, let's jump over here to our news reports. Actually, no, let's start with what's going on this morning. So DFSC, what is this thing? Good morning, Donnell. DFSC. Come on now. Oh, there it is. All right. So Def SEC Technologies says DevSec Technologies Inc. engages in the development and commercialization of tactical systems for military, public safety agencies, and personal defense markets. The company offers real-time data sharing at the tactical level, including integration with battlefield management applications, battlefield laser detection systems, and digitized firing platforms and electromagnetic spectrum operations. It also provides less lethal munitions systems, including para-ops, Arwin system, DefSec Technologies was formerly known as Key West Microsystems and changed its name to DefSec Technologies in June 2025. DefSec Technologies was founded in 2017 and is out of Canada. Okay. So it's got 29 employees. It is aerospace and defense. Went up to a high of $9 today. Let's go ahead and jump over here to the daily chart on this. Okay. Definitely cascaded down there. Closed at 435 yesterday. Opened up around, let's see, pre-market jumped up pretty quickly over 5. Went all the way up to 9. So where's $9 at? Went to 9 flat. Really isn't a obvious level up here, but it did have this gap. 625. Let's go ahead and mark that up. A little bit of a gap there. So this is going to be our higher gap level. Our daily gap. Okay. What am I talking about? This is a lower one. I'm tripping. This is a lower gap level. Lower gap level, and then the higher gap level is, I can't really see it. Let me move this down a little bit. Okay. Duplicate. All right, so we had a gap from 668 there. All right, so that's pretty much the gap level that it can play around. 662 down to 619, and it's at 567 right now. Let's go and look at our next one. Actually, before we do that, let's look at our points of control. So over here on the 5 and 15-minute point of control is at the 697, $7. Then over here, the point of control is at 682. So 682 up to 702 is where it's sitting right now. Trading below those levels. Okay, but a military-based stock, and it's out of Canada, so I don't know how well Canada's military is doing or what's going on for this stock to be going up. But let me go and look at more news for it. Okay, so DevSec Technologies to present at Think Equity Investor Conference on October 30th. Their third quarter 2025 earnings, they got a 3.69 loss per share. Reports continue for growth, closing of a 6 point. So they did a public offering a couple months ago. Yeah, public offering. So, not the hottest stock, and that's probably why it's just going on down. Right now, I'm not really seeing any catalyst plays, so I'm guessing today is going to be a Freaky Friday. Something's just going to erupt. Wow, ADTX did a full turnaround, went up there to 10 cents and flopped back to 6. Easy. Oh, we saw this earlier this week where we saw a couple of them pop up and absolutely slam, but these are cheaper ones that are doing it. IMRN. It says it announced a clinical trial update, and it completes minor protocol updates for IMM 529IND following FDA request for additional clinical information. That's a $2 stock, but the volume is very low on that. Okay. All right, back over here to the news. Blackwell chip sales in China rest on Trump, Nvidia CEO. All right. How the cybercab could solve Tesla's big EV problem. So Tesla is red right now. Go ahead and mark down these names that are in the market or in the news. So Tesla. See how that does. Oh no, it's up 1% right now. Okay. Exxon post strong earnings with Guyana, Permian Basin picking up. I don't know. Chevron beats estimates as Hess deal helps boost oil production. Google is finally finding answers to its AI questions. So Google. Um, the great AI build out shows no sign of slowing. So Nvidia, but it's not saying okay. Nvidia to supply more than 260,000 AI chips to South Korea. That was 5 hours ago. Feds Bowman plans to cut bank regulation unit jobs by 30%. Wabi integrates AI driver in Volvo autonomous truck. Apple shares rise as iPhone holiday sales forecasts soothes supply woes. Taiwan's MediaTek targets billions in AI accelerator chip revenue. Gold holds near 4,000 as traders weigh U.S. trade truce. Coinbase holds edge in U.S. crypto race even as rivals' public listings reshape landscape. AI turned Google Cloud from also ran. Wait, AI turned Google Cloud from also ran into Alphabet's growth driver. That's a weird one. Small cap stocks have been lifted by unprofitable companies. Can they continue climbing? Okay, so let's see what they are talking about over here.
95 cents. The street was at Q3 EPS $1.95. The street was at 158, so that's a beat. Net sales, let's look at the top line, 180.17 billion. The street was closer to 177.82 billion, so that is a beat. AWS net sales, we know obviously investors make a beeline for that. That is the cloud computing business. Net sales there, XFX up 20%. Consensus was closer to 17.9%, so that is a beat. Q3 North American net sales, 106.27 billion. The street was at 104.96 billion. Looking ahead here, Q4 operating income, they're looking for between 21 to 26 billion. The street was closer to 23.78 billion. And Q4 net sales, the range is at 206 to 213 billion. The street was at 208.45 billion. At least initially here, we're seeing a strong move in the after hours. Remember, heading into this print, the stock had a nice move over the past.
Okay, so first of all, what I've been seeing in the news about Amazon is they just got rid of what, like 250 something people, 250,000 something people, or it was quite a bit of a layoff that they did, right? And their stock is jumping today. So Amazon is going big into physical AI, and they're going big into AI in general, and they are kind of cleaning house, as it were. They got rid of a lot of people that do like marketing. They got rid of a lot of people that do some of the HR type hiring and just kind of dealing with office things, and they're trying to reduce the amount of people that they have per site. And now their stock is up 12% here on Friday. So that is interesting.
6 months, but it was basically flat year to date. It was up about 2%, but initially here, investors like what they see. Now that you have AWS's numbers, you have a full picture of that cloud computing battle, because you also have, of course, Microsoft and Google. You can throw Oracle in there as well. The numbers are just hitting the tape right now. Give me that instant analysis and reaction. What do you make of it?
Yeah, so Josh, thanks for having me. I'd say, just on just looking at it initially here, I think you look at the top line was fine, bottom line was fine. I'd say definitely a little bit light in terms of iPhones, and definitely a miss as far as expectations in China. And I'd say on the positive side of things, services did exceed our expectations. We were looking for about 13% growth, and it looks like it got a couple points above that. So, I think there were some good positives and negatives. I think really if I were to pinpoint one thing that seemed like it was a pretty big miss, it was that China number.
And what do you listen? We're going to listen to the call, obviously, Angel. But what do you chalk that up to? But obviously, for an Apple investor, you make a beeline to China every time because it's that key link in the supply chain. It's a key end market. What are the puts and takes there? What do you want to know more about on that business, how it's performing?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the September quarter is always an odd quarter because you've only got a couple of weeks as far as the new phone is concerned, right? And it is more supply driven than it is demand driven. So I think the commentary for the December quarter is going to be a whole lot more important than what they actually posted here for the quarter. And who knows, how much inventory they kind of really had to deplete potentially in China, so looking at sell-in versus sell-through. So there's probably a lot of moving parts as far as the September quarter was concerned in China. But it is going to be important because we saw some very good growth actually come from China in the June quarter. The belief was it was going to sustain into the September and December quarter. So we do want to hear from Tim Cook. We want to hear that enthusiasm as far as China is concerned. The expectation, again, was that it was going to be the base model that would really kind of drive the China demand. And again, we want to hear that from Tim Cook. But outside of that, also, when you look at the iPhone numbers, in its whole, it did miss as well. So again, what does that momentum for the Pro devices here look like for the December quarter? relative to the September quarter, and especially in the U.S. and these Western markets.
Okay. See, next one. Why OpenAI just?
I think you said in your notes to us that OpenAI is too big to fail. Is that how it's? Is that sort of a deliberate strategy on its part?
I don't know if it was deliberate at the outset, but it sort of seems that that's where they've been going. I mean, if you look at the partnerships that they have created now with Broadcom, NVIDIA, AMD, it just feels like Oracle. I mean, everybody in the industry now is tied to OpenAI. They all have a vested interest in some way for that company to succeed. And so the way I think about this too big to fail concept is we get these questions about how can OpenAI continue to finance all these huge projects they're talking about. Well, the way they can continue to finance it is through all these partnerships that they've made and all these companies that have this really vested interest in supporting them and making the company successful. And so I think it's probably become part of the strategy is, look, if we can get tied to everybody and make sure that everybody sort of needs us to succeed in some sense to keep the stock rally going, it almost could become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think Sam Altman is sort of smart enough to realize that.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning, One Life.
Securitize is the first company of its kind to go public via a SPAC deal with Cantor Fitzgerald Equity Partners II in a deal worth $1.25 billion. So let's talk more about tokenization and what value it provides to companies and their investors. Carlos Domingo, Securitize founder and CEO, is joining me here in the studio. Carlos, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we've talked for a while. So congrats, first of all, on this deal to go public. And Securitize and tokenization has really become a buzzword since we started talking, I think, a couple of years ago. It's really gained a lot of speed. Yeah, exactly. So I want to talk a little bit about the sort of concept of tokenization first and the value that it brings. We are seeing more of an interest in tokenizing a broader swath of assets, right? And I think most interestingly, or most recently, stocks being tokenized is something that has come into the conversation. Why would I want to, and how does it work? Why would I want to tokenize a stock?
So look, just to explain what tokenization is in layman terms.
Yes.
Every transaction in capital markets, whether it's a stock, a bond, a fund, a redemption, an interest paid, whatever, dividend, involves updating a ledger. Right? So somebody has to have a record of who owns what and how that transaction affects the ownership change and also the money that you've used to pay for the transaction. So tokenization is nothing else but taking these securities and that are in antiquated ledger technologies, silo, not connected to each other, and put them on a modern public distributed ledger technology like a blockchain is to provide all these efficiencies. So why people want this? Well, it's going to democratize access to a lot of assets. It's going to make the assets easier to move around. It's going to make them easier to borrow against them. It's going to make it easier to receive dividends on time, etc. So ultimately, this becomes like a better way of holding and trading the assets.
I guess what I'm confused about is why create a token twin of the asset rather than just securitizing the asset itself?
That's a very good question. So what we do is we actually work with the issuers. So when we issue a token, the token actually represents the security. There is no other copy of that security anywhere else. It's not a twin. It's the actual native representation. It's represented on a different ledger, a blockchain, with the entry on that ledger is called a token. So it's not a twin. This is a native representation.
Well, but for example, if it's a stock, it's not the stock. You're not owning the stock itself, are you? Okay.
Yeah, of course. So actually, most people don't realize that when you, let's say, buy stocks on Robinhood, they're not under your name on the cap table. They're actually under the Central Securities Depository. The clearinghouse. DTC has a company called CD&Co that all the stocks are actually under their name. But you can actually request those stocks to be placed under your name through an entity called a transfer agent, which every publicly traded company has. And then when you do that, if the transfer agent uses a blockchain as their ledger, then that's tokenization, and you're going to get a token. So it's actually a better mechanism. You're actually really owning the stock. You really have rights. You can vote directly. You can receive the dividends immediately because they will know that you are a beneficial owner, etc., as opposed to holding the stocks in the traditional way.
We were looking at a couple of
So
small
where are
caps.
the AI opportunities, Joe? What?
But none of them have kind of like catalysts. And like I mentioned earlier, today is the crossover day. So it's gonna be kind of one of those days where we kind of got to see what, if anything, is gonna be on Freaky Friday. That is also Halloween. That is also the last day of the month. It's like, we'll see. No, but no rush, no rush. We're not digging for things. We're just gonna let those scanners go ahead and go over there. If you got your scanner set up, that's how you do it. But digging's gonna lead you to faulty gold. So I'm just sitting here. Once I see something hit the scans that's a low float that's kind of moving, that'll be good. And then my during intraday, my other scanner that scans for some other metrics will be popping. So we'll see. Well, I say will be popping. I don't know if it's gonna be popping. But I'll see what comes up there, do our due diligence, and move there. But for right now, this is just kind of like the start of the fishing day. If this is going to be a fishing day, just checking the weather, checking the windage, getting your barometer out, checking the pressure, seeing what's in your toolbox, in your what are the lures for today, right? And so right now, I've taken notes that Amazon is up 12%. It has 2 million shares traded. It may suck a little bit of attention away from small caps. And I'm currently continuing to look through the market to see what else that is a large cap that could suck away the attention from small caps or even mid caps, or a mid cap that's sucking attention away. So we're just looking around right now.
What are the themes? What are the trends that excite you?
Josh, I absolutely love the infrastructure opportunity. My former employer Blackstone is now has a picks and shovels commercial. I think it is so apropos of the moment we find ourselves in AI today. So I'm an investor in a company called Taurus, which is solving the storage problem and last mile problem for electricity. But if you think about the demands that we are expecting for electricity over the next decade, the speculation is 80 gigawatts required new per year after 2 decades of flat net demand for our country. So that's we're talking about over 100 power plants per year. And then rather than having a trailer-sized nuclear power plant in everyone's backyard, thinking about how does AI and storage start to solve those problems is really important. And finally, I would say the edge compute, and a la what we heard from Qualcomm today, edge compute is a very, very hot topic.
And when you're looking for these AI opportunities, Joe, do you want to stay U.S. focused, or are you also looking overseas?
Well, that's a great question, Josh. I think as we've thought about looking overseas, it's more about how do you move capacity and how do you keep capacity optimized. So not only overseas versus domestic, but also I think chips and data centers are going to become much more use case centric. And so how do you maintain utilization at its optimum? And the way to do that is by having the ability to move capacity from one data center to the next in a seamless way.
So that seems to be the last one for this. All right, so let's go and look at any interesting. Let me actually refresh this page, see if anything else has come out in the last couple minutes. All right, Israel puts off signing $35 billion gas deal with Egypt. Prompts U.S. Energy Secretary to cancel visit. Okay. AWS, Amazon, Apple shares surge as earnings shine.
Let's start with Apple here. As you know, there's a lot of chatter that there's pretty good uptake of the iPhone 17. That's not going to be in the quarter that they're about to report, but how is that going to feed through into maybe what we hear from Apple?
It's a surprise upgrade cycle. I mean, that's the reality, right? I mean, no one expected it was going to be, including, even myself, no one expected it was going to be this strong. So that's going to be clear, good in terms of obviously going to holiday season in terms of guidance. China, I mean, we talk about with Tesla, China now actually goes to a tailwind for Apple from a headwind. And that's important because you go back to the last few months, New York City cab driver is bearish in Apple. Now you set up for what I believe is going to be the Apple Gemini partnership on AI. That's how you're going to get to what I think in a year from now is, $325, $350 stock.
And then Dan, finally, we're also going to hear from Microsoft. And I'm curious, as we look at the sort of hyperscaler wars or cloud wars, if you will, do you think that Amazon's outage is going to allow Microsoft to grab a little market share?
I don't think so, because I think that continues to be sticky. But I do think, look, when it comes to Jassy and Amazon, they're playing catch up relative to enterprise, what Microsoft's doing, because they are in pole position on these enterprise AI workloads as that stays within that sort of Redmond base. Now, Google has clearly had massive growth, and I think you'll see it again in terms of all of our checks, what we'll see from GCP this quarter. Look, but for Amazon, that's the opportunity. And I think that's right now the big focus to make sure that they're not on the outside looking in.
All right, Coinbase out with better than expected results. Let's get right to Coinbase CFO Alicia Haas. Alicia, always great to get some time with you here. Look, the numbers look good, really from the top line to the earnings result. What was the biggest driver, you think, of the quarter?
We had so many drivers, Brian. So it was a strong quarter of execution, 1.9 billion of revenue, 800 million plus of adjusted EBITDA. But the ones I want to highlight for you are the following. We saw our subscription and services revenue hit a new all-time high of $748 million. Go back and look at a year ago, look at 2 years ago. We've just seen tremendous scaling. And a lot of that has been driven by the growth in our assets on platform. So the assets on platform crossed $500 billion this quarter. USDC was a key driver here. We grew staked assets, we grew custody, we grew average loans on our platforms. Just seeing a lot of growth in all of our balance sheet type assets. USDC, though, is a bright spot where we now have over $15 billion of USDC on our platform. Coinbase was the largest driver of the USDC market cap this quarter, and USDC crossed a new all-time high of $74 billion. We also saw growth in the trading front where we outperformed US spot trading. A lot of this was fueled by our advanced traders. We rolled out this new white glove service offering that's seen a lot of traction, and we're able to retain and grow these advanced traders on our platform. However, another bright star was we closed the Deribit acquisition. So our institutional trading revenues, they grew over 120% in the quarter. 120% growth, phenomenal growth. And this is all fueled because we have become the most comprehensive derivatives platform. We now have options, we have perpetuals, we're putting those side by side with spot. We're really creating a very unique trading experience. We've got a lot of work to do to integrate this. We need to roll this out to more users, but we have the foundation and the seeds to really drive a unique product offering for these institutions.
Alicia, really, the growth quarter over quarter, like through different line items, was very strong. Can you, as you zoom out, can you say this was really the first quarter where a company like Coinbase felt the positive effects of just less regulation, less scrutiny of the industry by the Trump administration?
I would say regulatory clarity has been a huge tailwind that has benefited us all year. That has been one, but it's also product innovation. The technology is there, the customers are now ready. And so it's all coming together where we're really seeing companies now emerge with products, and the products are what's winning and driving the growth as well.
The last time I talked to you, it has been a little bit. I don't know where time goes, Alicia, but it has gone very quickly. Last time I talked to you, I thought Coinbase, it's crypto, it's tethered to the price of Bitcoin, but you've made, I think, a pivot, and you want to become what you call the everything exchange. And right out of the block on the shareholder letter for this, you talk about payments. What is your plan of attack for payments in 2026?
Well, I want to zoom out and talk about the Everything Exchange. The Everything Exchange absolutely is the vision, and Brian set forth a great picture last quarter where we really want to bring more and more assets on chain and trade them side by side. So trading is the vision of the Everything Exchange. But you are right, in addition to trading, we also want to be a payments platform. And payments, we think, are the next big use case in crypto. So we have live APIs. They're live on Shopify and they're live on Coinbase Business as of the third quarter. It's early days, but we're really excited about what we have as now a vertical stack to enable fast, cheap global payments. So we have Base, which is our digital rail, where we are offering speed and low cost. So we are in milliseconds, millicents, global payment rail. We then have USDC as a stable coin and others that we offer on top of Base. Plus now the addition of these payments APIs, we really think that we have created the foundational elements to open up the growth of payments. So again, early days, but the pieces are there and we're excited to then drive value through customers. We opened up a new partnership this week with Citibank that we announced that Citi will now do pay-in and payouts on USDC through the Coinbase platform. So as we add partnerships, we are the platform of choice, and we think that this will start to drive the ecosystem of payments that will see growth and adoption.
Alicia, a recent JP Morgan research report caught my attention. They're calling out that Coinbase is considering a base token could be a $12 billion to $34 billion opportunity. What is a base token? And do those numbers sound right to you?
Well, what I want to share is that it is early days of us exploring a base token. And because we are very committed to building out in the open, we are sharing with the community, we're sharing with our developers, with regulators, with experts, and learning from them about what a token could look like here. So too early to talk about it here, Brian. I have no idea if we will do this, when we will do this, or how this could be valued and what the value is, but it's something we're taking very seriously as we want to drive value to the overall base network and the ecosystem.
As you look into next year, Alicia, what's the next big unlock in terms of regulation? We had so much favorable pro-crypto growth industry regulation this year. Is there another big driver next year?
Well, we're hoping it's this year. So the Clarity Act is the next key piece of infrastructure or regulatory approvals that we need to move forward. And this, we are seeing real leadership on both sides, Democrats, Republicans. We're actively engaged here to try and bring this to the floor for a vote. And this will then help us with the taxonomy of the ecosystem. This will help bring the market structure rules that help unlock security tokens and the tokenization of other assets that we've long hoped for.
How important is the tokenization of other assets?
Morning, Nate.
I think that this is showing, just like you tokenized a US dollar and you've seen this tremendous growth of stablecoins, both USDC but other stablecoins, bringing assets on chain reduces settlement risk, drives speed, drives inclusion, and we think that this is just the future. You're going to see an increasing amount of transactions on chain across all financial services.
Just looking at the guidance real quick, Alicia, subscription and services revenue, you're looking for about 710 to 790 million in the fourth quarter. Estimates around.
All right, well, Coinbase is turning up. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next one. Exxon, Chevron.
Time now for To Watch Friday, October 31st. We're going to start off on the earnings front here. We're getting some key reports from the energy sector on Friday.
Okay, so we got Exxon, AbbVie, Chevron, Colgate, Dominion Energy, and Charter earnings.
That's going to include Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, and Dominion. Exxon announced results for the third quarter in the morning. Analysts expecting the company's Q3 results to get a boost from its downstream businesses, which could add about $1.1 billion to profits, but lower oil prices might hurt earnings by about $700 million. Moving over to the Federal Reserve, some more commentaries coming on Friday from Fed Presidents Lori Logan, Beth Hammack, and Raphael Bostic. This coming after the Fed cut interest rates by 25 basis points on Wednesday. Fed Chair Jerome Powell saying in the press conference that there are strongly differing views about how to proceed and that another cut in December is far from a foregone conclusion. And taking a look over at the media space too, Disney and YouTube TV, they are facing off in a high-stakes dispute that could pull ABC and ESPN off the Google-owned platform if a new deal isn't reached by midnight. YouTube TV, now topping 10 million subscribers, is pushing for shorter, cheaper contracts as it gains leverage over traditional media giants like Disney. The numbers are just...
All right, so let's jump back out. So we're just surfing the news right now, you know. Trump urges go nuclear on filibuster as economic pains mount. Okay. So we literally are one day away from, you know, when SNAP benefits and all that. So literally tomorrow. And I've seen reports, people just kind of, some people are very extreme, some people are, very mild. So there's a spectrum. Federal workers, they have different food lines and things for them. They're going and trying to take care of their families on what they have. A lot of people were living paycheck to paycheck, or are living paycheck to paycheck, even making hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. You know, it's just a lot of kind of exposure to how prepared people really are in the case where the government steps back. And so it's kind of exposing and kind of showing what weaknesses there are, just around having the government be so I guess not overbearing, but stepping in so much. And so they took like two steps back, and it's definitely causing some waves. Um, and so we already know the Republicans, they push for smaller government, and they really don't. They're cutting back on pretty much all of the like government funding and spending, and kind of just cutting back, taking some steps back to allow people, or I mean, some people see it as allowing, some people see it as limiting. Some people see it as allowing them freedom to do things on their own, and then some people see it as a limiting factor. Hey, I can't do this anymore because you step back. So it's two different sides, and there's extremes out here. So we're gonna see what happens on tomorrow, and yeah, it's gonna be either a clown show, or it's just gonna be kind of like blah, kind of like stalemate. But I'm thinking that people are itching to get their government back open. Even though they did so many layoffs before the government even closed, and some people, they just aren't getting their jobs back anyway. But for those that are furloughed and waiting on the check to come through, those people are definitely itching to get the government back open. Um, let's see. So data storage firms, Western Digital, Seagate soar on AI-driven demand spike. Was the latest news. Let's see. Everything else I think we've seen. Let's go. Is there any kind of announcements from the FOMC? This is the 31st, so no speakers or anything, just assets and liabilities of commercial banks in the US. So I only took one trade this week. It was a red trade. I was just kind of trying to fill it out. And the thing is, it went into profit, and then I didn't take the profit, so I kind of got greedy. Wait, where'd it go? Yeah, this is it. Doom. Okay, yeah, right here. So yeah, I just got greedy, got stopped out on a direct offering. Should have took the profit while it was up there. Could have had 50 some bucks, and then gave me another chance, and I was just like, yeah, this thing, I'm thinking it can go. But it did not. And as you can see over here on the 15 minutes, it did quite a bit of a direct offering out of this level. So that was the one trade for this week. It did not kill my profits on the month or anything. And that's the whole purpose of having the risk management system is, hey, if I take a loss, will this loss kill me? Right? But yeah, that's where I'm sitting on the week, still green on the week, green on the month, not on the week. And I don't know if there will be any opportunity for me to recover any of that on this week. The opportunity that I had yesterday, TOS wasn't allowing us to trade that Singapore company. So it is what it is. Definitely would have made that loss up very easily though on that. But yeah, this is where we're sitting. Let's jump back over here to the things that I currently still see on the small cap world. DFSC has been grinding around, has came down here and bottomed a couple of times here at the 561. It's up 31%. It had an idea up here and then another one up here, 578. So I'm not sure what it wants to do, but it has 15 million shares traded. It pretty much has a bottom down here, 20 cents away at the 558s. At a top side up here of 594. But these candles are getting smaller and smaller, so I'm not sure if it could easily give out, 30 cents at this point. It closed yesterday with the ATR of 32 cents. And a lot of times when I'm looking at these stocks, I want them to be at least double. I want the ATR to be at least double what I'm trying to get. So if I'm aiming for 30 cents, it needs to be at least 60 cents in the ATR to pay me out smoothly. If the ATR is 10 cents and you're expecting to make 30 cents, you're mistaken. It's the probability of that happening is very low. Now, if it's the ATR is $3, now that 30 cents is like, oh, I think this one can give me my payout. All right, a little bit of turnaround there. Anything else new popping up? Nope. WAI still there. CMND still there. Yeah, the volume is not great on this one. It's been it's got this level up here where that gap is up to the 619s. But I mean, maybe if it comes down and tests this 550 one more time, maybe, but I don't know. Got 15 million shares traded. We have about 9 minutes until the top of the hour. Didn't quite get up here and touch this level here of the 580s. Very still motion right there. Then if it comes back down here, my question is it going to go ahead and break this 550 and go on down? I like my stocks to be above $5. Be over, well, there's a little slip right there. Let me look back here a little bit. And the other thing is there's no kind of strong catalyst on this one. We know that they're military based and all of that, but no strong catalyst on Friday for this one. And coming back down to this previous idea here, we're going to see if it breaks new lows. If it breaks new lows, then we'll have to look for another uptrend to be certified. So new lows will be at 550-ish around here. Yeah, if you're looking for higher float stuff, that's really, I look at that during intraday. So right now we're looking specifically at low floats that can actually move during pre-market. That's kind of the focus of the pre-market. And then intraday, some other things may trickle in and kind of show their heads. But pre-market, look at that. Pre-market, I'm looking for things that can actually move. Now this one just went 10 cents from 560 up to 570, but that's still, we'll have to see how this closes in about 3 or 5 seconds. This candle will, 1 minute candle will close. the bottom here, we had 1, 2, 3, and somebody just did a little fat finger here, but we'll see if that fat finger was accidental and if shorts want to jump onto this. The low side of this is 560, so there's a little bit of an upwards idea here, and we'll see how this upward idea starts to hold if it wants to break this down. And there was a little bit here as well, so there's 2 upward ideas that were here, but we'll see what wants to hold. The top side of this was 574. Bottom side to break these down would be 558. So about a 20-cent risk here. But I want to see if that fat finger was false. Is it going to flip sides here? But this is 3 times that it's been down here, created a higher low here. Looked like it was going to fail again, created, we don't really have a higher low. So I'm looking for a higher low than this section here of the 560. $30 seconds left till this candle closes. Previous level up here to 583 where the previous uptrend was. 575s. Is something new going to pop in that can challenge this one? This one's got 15 million shares traded, but the catalyst is just like, eh. Andre says the volume on EPWK is crazy. Oh boy, is this a 2-cent stop? 6-cent stop. I was almost on it. I was almost on it. Yeah. So the volume is somewhere, it's just not here right now. 6-cent stock over there. All right, so looks like there's a little bit of holding. There's kind of like a crossover point here. We'll see if these 2 ideas can hold this up or if it wants to flash through this 566, but that still isn't going to end it because the bottom, the true bottom down here that's been tested is at 559. So I'm going to see how that does. They're definitely sitting there on that 570 though. Kind of heavy. Amazon still up 12%, and then we got Coinbase up 4%, Nvidia up 2%, Apple up 2%. Okay, so sitting on that first, or not the first idea, but the secondary idea that was created, let's see if it starts to crack down 560s. And then it has an idea here of 567. Very flat in this area though. I don't like the amount of cents that it's moving, 1 and 2 cents at a time. All right, let's go back over to your call out. Let's see, what was that call out? WK. EPWK. So this one closed at 6 cents, went up to 22 cents, and it's just kind of rumbling around. What is EPWK? What is the float on it? What is all of that stuff? And as soon as I look away, this one wants to make a little snap up. Yeah. So it held this previous level here. 566 would be the out point. Let's see, hit that top side idea there, kind of pull back off of that. As soon as I looked away, I looked over and I was like, wait a minute, what is going on? Still got this level here at the 568s, but can it hold above this? Can it close above this 566? Oh, you're right. You're right. Top of the hour. That's what it was. Okay. Top of the hour. All right, back over to EPWK here. Let's see what this profile is talking about. All right, EPWK Holdings provides an online service platform for the People's Republic of China and internationally. Its platform assists small service providers to promote their business to users with real service requirements. The company offers business solutions to corporate clients, including the design and development of tailor-made systems or software comprising BI platforms, ERP systems, and cybersecurity software. It also provides online promotion services, value-added services such as bookkeeping, tax filing, IP application and registration, and qualification certification services, and shared office rental and management services. The company was founded in 2011 and is headquartered in Jiangmen, People's Republic of China. Okay. So, yeah, that's sounds dangerous on today. Dangerous. We are getting a little comeback, pullback here. We'll see if it can hold this level again. This will be 4 times holding this level up if it can do it at this 559-ish area. But it is creating some type of, we'll see what the new idea here is. 63s, right on down to the 560s. All right, ended up clipping out that level, popping back up. Okay, so let's see how this closes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 times it's been down here. I'm wondering, is it going to end up closing lower on this one? As I think it can, right above this 560. Okay, so now we have a new idea here formulating. We'll see how this holds. Right through it. And the bottom here it was 553. So we'll see how that holds. Go ahead and clean up a little bit of these uptrends, see where it's at on the downtrends. So it's got this trend here inside of the trend. Okay, pushing on down there under this level. So now it's got to qualify again. A new bottom. It's up 25% with 18 million shares traded. And it ended up failing this. Got to see a new idea form here. So 550s, right at that 550-ish level with a new low. Let's see, does this cross over with anything over here? Not really, not clearly. So now it is within these downtrends, and we got to find another uptrend for it to even. And this uptrend right here that it tested a couple of times will definitely be, definitely could be some type of resistance there. Okay, does it want to recapture 550? Is that what we doing? Can we start to trade around this 560-ish level is the question. Got up there and tapped it. Can't start sitting on this again. $55.60. Finding a little bit of resistance there. Bottom was 546. Went up there and tapped this. 5 cents away from the 550s. Can we get a new idea formed? Body of this candle was 557. And it closed below that. Don't like that. We'll see how it tests this level of the 550. Up 27%. Can it form a new idea? Boom, a drop through. All right, so let's see if it remains higher than the 540s. Ooh, another low tick. Are you gonna go ahead and break down, or are you gonna stop here? Invalidated all of that and straight through. All right, so new lows, and it is only up 24%. Under the 550s. So went up there, tested this previous level. Little double bottom here at the 5.4. Oh, nope, not a double bottom. Broke that. 19 million shares traded. Point of control has not moved. Let me go look at where this volume's at. A little bit of trading down here, but yeah, point of control is it's kind of like on leave right now. So we have a possible level that it could return to, but if it keeps dipping like this, we gotta kind of wait it out. Almost 20 million shares traded on this one, still up 22%. Did news come out on this one? No. Okay. Back up here to the 550s. Let's see what kind of ideas form between this 30 and the 50, or does it want to continue downwards? Little pop down there. Still within the overall downtrend. So that move, it moved what? 56 down to 42. That was a 10-cent move. Then 549 down to 530. So about 10-cent moves in here. Bottom is down here at the 529. So let's see if any upwards ideas come out of this. And we know that there was a hard resistance level up here at the 560s. See how this closes. Higher low form there on the 1 minute. And again, I don't like these types of, man, I do not like those types of candles. Ay. We'll see if it can hold above this little doji here of the 538, but man, I don't like that. Throwing that in there. Giving it a little time to kind of certify this level. So we got right at the 530s is kind of the slowdown point. But it should be opening up a new candle here. There's a new candle. Let's see if it can pop down and stay above 530s. Big numbers sitting at the 540s there. Looks like they want to, can they come on down though under the 540s? 540 little double top smush. No, I'm not stuck on it. I'm just looking, you know. What are you looking at? What you got? What you got? I see you said GETY was a higher float. Let's go look at that one then. Higher floats, but moving, and it's cheaper as well. So GET is definitely out of scope for me. Got to get over that 5. What else you got? Higher float. See, that's the thing. Like I'm staying within scope for the trading that I'm trying to do. So it's gotta meet the scope first, you know. And I've kind of trained my brain now to be repulsed by things that are out of scope. I'm like, ooh, whoa, makes my stomach bubble. Oh, but yeah, this one came down lower. Let's see, so 561 up there. and I don't even know if that one was a higher float, but or overall, let me go look. GETY. Find us the perplexity deal numbers. Let me go see. Multi-year licensing, GETY. I mean, it could be intraday play though, for sure. Go look at this. GETY. Okay, so Getty Images Inc. provides creative and editorial visual content solutions in the Americas, Europe, and the Middle East, and all of that. Royalty-free photos, illustrations, vectors, videos, and generative AI services. Editorial, which consists of photos and videos covering entertainment, sports. Yeah. Okay. What's that? So basically photography and just image generation. It's been around since 1995. Let's go look at the stats. Let's go look at that float. So the float is 193.99 million, and that is way out of scope. So the price is out of scope, and then the float for pre-market trading is out of scope as well. Scary. Scary. All right. All right. Let's see. One reason I'm interested in Perplexity is rival with ChatGPT, so could draw interest. Yeah, possibly. Let's see. This one just continues to disprove everything. Oh. And continues to break to new lower lows, and now is at 20%. That's not good. So 19 million shares traded, and yeah. WAI, what are you doing over here? $3.56. This one is 25 cents away from the 5. Super close to just not being anything at all. Trend line was up here towards 540s, and it's continued to just go down. Let me look back at the daily chart to see exactly where this thing is on the daily. So it had a bottom down here of 481. Previous levels that it broke from. It's like a little double top at the 480-ish level. Oh, we're seeing a little bit of a spur here at the 529. So at 21%, I'm wondering, can it do anything off? I mean, it's just kind of making a new high here, but I mean, maybe it could go up 10 cents to 540. Is that too much? Is that too much to ask for on this one, 10 cents? Got a low of 523. 523 there. We'll give it a couple candles to play. It has this overall downtrend right here that is trading towards. I really thought G-Wave was gonna be a little bit more than it was this morning. G-Wave popped up to 979 and rotated down, but it's on such low volume. When it popped, I was like, oh boy, volume's about to pour in here, and it did not happen like that. Let's see, Amazon. What you looking like, Amazon? Big gap up into some tight ranges, and the NQ just continues to go higher. It's just higher and higher over here. Oops. So it had this drop off yesterday at 3 o'clock and then just rebounded right back up to the 26. The highs were up here at the 26 400 and only about less than $200 away from that. So crazy mover. SIG. So looking at the current catalyst that we have on here, so VSIG was one that was moving yesterday as well. I think it was blocked. I think Donnell told me that the trading on it was blocked too, but you can see this one actually went down. They did a direct offering, AZTR. I'm just looking for catalysts in the low floats area at this point because we don't really know what's going on. In vitro. Boom, boom. All right, so this one's just stacking down here around this 525-ish level again. But I'm wondering, does it have room to try and touch that 560 one more time? The volume just has not come down here like I thought it would. I mean, it's out here. It's just didn't come up like I thought it would. Can it actually end up testing maybe the 540s here at the downtrend? $5.25, so it'd be a 25-cent risk down to $5. Bottom is 523. And it began holding something and it immediately closes below that. So the top here is 527, going back towards that bottom. Irrelevant. 523 broke that down. I don't know if it's going to be able to do anything right there. WAI, both of them are at 20%, right around 20%. Kind of hard to tell what they're going to do, but DFSC definitely has more volume. All right, we hit a bottom down here at 522. Let's see if it starts to uptrend from this bottom or not. Still got this level out here. So at this point, this is all the way back up to the 547s, and that's a long stretch. I just want one clean move. That's all I want. One clean move, and I'll close it on down. But I don't know if this is the thing that I need to be trying to get one clean move on. Amazon breaking back over previous levels of 251 up here to 252. Okay, so really flat level here. This will be a 20-cent risk at this point. So am I willing to take a 20-cent risk to maybe get about, was it 24 up to 40? Maybe. The 15-minute just isn't in agreement with what I'm trying to do at all. It's kind of hating. Look at this 15-minute. 15-minute, nice little sell-off. Top side of this is 541, and it's right at the 525s right now. The only other thing that I'm thinking about is, I mean, there's no actual catalyst on the day. Yeah, it's military based and all of that, but I mean, I may have to wait to intraday because it's not meeting all of the pre-market type criteria. So I might just wait until to see what the volume does after the open. Definitely keep eyes on it, but maybe something comes up. Hopefully it doesn't be like, oh yeah, we're doing a direct offering, and then boom, you're down to the ground. So for right now, I think I'm gonna hold off on this. It's missing key components. Let's jump back over here to oh, it is almost yeah, Canadian government military. Yeah. Looking back over here, the latest says Getty Perplexity signed multi-year licensing deal to boost AI-powered search visuals. I don't know. It's just so much that's already doing that. I don't know how much better it can get, but I guess they'll do some type of improvement. Amazon continue to break to new levels higher. Charter sheds. I think I already seen this one. Maybe I didn't. Not sure. Colgate. Y'all use that Colgate to whiten y'all's teeth. That Colgate.
Some earnings movers out this morning. We're tracking Chevron, Exxon, and Colgate-Palmolive. First up, Chevron. Shares are rising after the company posted a strong beat on both the top and bottom lines. Earnings coming in at $1.85 a share versus estimates of $1.66. Revenue totaled $49.7 billion, also well above forecasts. The company gave credit to its $53 billion Hess acquisition, which closed in July, for a big boost to production. Worldwide output rose to 4.1 million barrels of oil equivalent per day, and the company reported strong downstream earnings, up more than 90% year over year. And don't miss our upcoming interview with Chevron CFO Eimear Banner, her first broadcast interview that's coming up later this afternoon on Market Domination. Meanwhile, Exxon shares are moving to the downside even after the company posted strong results for the quarter. Exxon reported adjusted earnings of $1.88 a share, just above estimates, with revenue at $85.3 billion, also ahead of expectations. The company said its Yellowtail project in Guyana helped lift output to a record 700,000 barrels a day last quarter, but free cash flow fell to $6.3 billion, not enough to fully cover dividends and buybacks, a sign that heavy investments and lower oil prices are still pressuring margins. And finally, Colgate-Palmolive, those shares are trading about flat after the company missed organic sales estimates. The consumer products giant reported organic sales of just 0.4% in the third quarter, well below expectations for a 1.4% gain as volume declined across most regions. Earnings did come in ahead of forecasts at 91 cents a share, while revenue held steady at $5.13 billion. Colgate kept its full-year EPS guidance unchanged, forecasting organic sales growth of 1% to 2%, but did warn that consumer pressure and weak demand in Asia continue to weigh on results. It's time now for today's trending tickers. Tech and media front and center this morning. And yes, even a little AI news from Taylor Swift's publisher. But let's start in South Korea, where NVIDIA's latest expansion is already lifting tech stocks in Seoul. The chipmaker will supply 260,000 Blackwell AI chips to some of the country's biggest conglomerates, Hyundai, Samsung, SK Group, and Naver. The chips will power everything from smart factories and autonomous vehicles to semiconductor manufacturing. The chips will also look to expand what we already know with the AI trade at large. Samsung alone plans to deploy about 50,000 NVIDIA GPUs for use in mobile devices, robotics, and new memory units for AI chips. Samsung shares are up over 100% this year as the company leans harder into artificial intelligence. And over in Hollywood, Netflix is on the move. Shares are up about 3% in early trading after the company confirmed a 10-for-1 stock split, saying that it wants to make its shares more accessible to employees. What? Also juicing the stock a bit this morning, Reuters reporting that Netflix is preparing a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery's studio and streaming assets. The company has hired advisors to help shape that offer, which would pit Netflix against Paramount Skydance in what's shaping up to be a Hollywood bidding war. And speaking of streaming showdowns, Disney's networks, including ESPN and ABC, went dark on YouTube TV overnight after the two sides failed to reach a new carriage deal before the midnight deadline. Negotiations over pricing are still ongoing, and neither company has said when service will ultimately resume. And finally, a different kind of music industry headline involving AI. Universal Music, the publisher behind Taylor Swift, Kendrick Lamar, and Olivia Rodrigo, has settled its copyright dispute with the AI song generator ODO. And in a surprising twist, Universal is now partnering with ODO to build a licensed, artist-approved AI music platform set to launch next year.
They sued them, and then they partner with them. That's crazy.
It feels like we were just there talking about your IPO, but since then, I mean, the AI market has absolutely hit entirely new gear. I'd love to get your thoughts on what we heard for this, from this morning, for example. Microsoft and OpenAI restructuring their partnership, a really eye-popping valuation. What does that say about tech stocks?
Well, I'm not in the business of stocks as you all are, but I think we're all observing some of what you've all been calling a bit of a bubble. And I think maybe unlike some of the things that have been referred to as bubbles in the past, I think most people are pretty convinced this is a systemic shift in the technology landscape. There may be some sense, a friend of mine said to me recently, we may be overestimating the short-term impact and underestimating the long-term impact. I think this is a fairly significant tectonic shift in technology, but how fast it gets adopted and how companies continue to look at the investments they're making and what it does for their business is still a little bit, uncertain at the rate of that change.
Given where the valuations have come on AI, Mark, does that change how you plan for your business? Maybe you want to go out and buy another company to improve parts of your business. Do you just say, like, look, no, guys, we're not pulling the trigger here at these prices?
I'd say for us, we're in the realm of M&A. When we think about that at all, we tend to think from a perspective of our own roadmap. We try to be a very market-driven, customer-driven company. We think about where we think we need to go based on what we're hearing in the market from our particularly leading and largest customers about what they need and where they're going. And then we're always looking for ways to accelerate that roadmap by looking at technology acquisition and pulling something in to accelerate our vision. But in general, I'd say we're much more focused on kind of listening to what the challenges our customers are facing. And Brian, as you said, everybody's talking about AI. Most large companies have pilots or projects, but there has been a little bit of a slowness in adoption, I think. And I think from where our perspective as a security vendor, that's generally because there's some risk that they don't feel completely comfortable with yet.
All right, I think
you said in your notes was that
saw that one already. All right, well, so yeah, gonna continue to look around today. Remember that it is a crossover day. I'll see how, since we are, an hour and 30 minutes away from the open. No, about an hour away from the open. We'll see how everything goes. It's kind of just, I don't know, just kind of waiting for the pivots. I was looking over here back at DFS whatever, and it came up to this little downtrend and kind of got spooked there a little bit. And And so I'll be watching that for sure. And now it's starting to walk up, but I'm not sure what it wants to do on this downtrend. It really hasn't cleared it yet. The top side of this is the 535s. So it is what it is. I want to kind of see, since we're so close, I just don't really think that it can come out of this cup because it's formed like this little mini cup here. But getting all the way back up here to 570 is going to take way like a explosion of volume here that it just isn't showing me right now. So yeah, I'm just going to sit back and cross my arms and wait. Maybe something else will pop up too near the open. But yeah, I think we did a pretty good analysis here, looking over the news, kind of looking through the different topics and whatnot. But yeah, Freaky Friday, about to close the month up and go into a no eat November, or is this November coming up? Yeah, October, November coming up. And we're gonna see how SNAP benefits, how all this stuff plays out. Are the stores more empty? You know, are people doing things in the stores that would garner the police? But we got another one up here as well. It's now $1.50, which is NIVF, just popped up. Says the news on it, NewGen enters into an innovative digital assets purchase agreement with White Lion to acquire up to 600,000 Solana tokens valued at over 110 million. That is definitely a crypto catalyst. They're purchasing 600,000 Solana tokens, and yeah. So that's up as well, and it looks to be getting way more volume than DFSC, and that's why I was like, man, let me just, maybe something else will pop up. So this little one's telling me, hey, this is not the day to play. We out here. And so if NIVF is going to be the best on the day, let me go look at the daily chart for this real quick. NIVF. So daily chart looks like I got some old stuff up here. Closed at 108, popped up to 150. So right around this little gap level here. Kind of has the same setup as a DFSC with this gap, but just more volume pouring into it. It is a low float. Closed yesterday with 19 cents in the ATR. So that's not meeting my quota. So let's go ahead, and this is the higher gap. Higher daily gap on there. And then I will remove this one, duplicate lower gap. Just a little tiny gap that is playing around in there. Edit, this is the lower gap. Okay, but it's got crypto news, so it's pretty much the first one that we've seen with actual catalyst. Let me go ahead and remove these old ones. All this stuff up here is just not. Okay, so it had this spike here, what, 286? 286 is a peak level there. Peak daily level. Okay, so got this little 150 and then up there to 280 something, and it is at 30% now, with 8 million shares traded, running towards 10 million shares traded. Here was that gap that I just marked, the daily lower and higher. One is at like 159. It's just a very thin 4-cent gap, but this is a smaller mover, so can't expect big gains on this one unless you're oversizing. But yeah, so now it's taking the spotlight on the day, and we'll see if it continues to suck up the volume in the small caps. If so, that will definitely lead me to definitely sit on my hands. Now, I feel better about not taking DFSC. It was number one, but then this one pops out of nowhere, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm number one. So it's about to have 10 million shares traded. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to shut it down, get ready for this morning meeting. Appreciate you guys for tuning in for sure. I'll be back on Monday morning, or is Monday morning? No, it's not a holiday. Okay, Monday morning, and we'll get into some more market analysis. You know, I mean, it's been no trade days for Wednesday, Thursday, and now here Friday. Am I going to get something or no? This one is now flashing back down to the 130s, but it is what it is, man. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. See y'all in the next one. Peace. You said forget that meeting. Nah, bruh. I got guaranteed money coming in. Guaranteed. All the way back down to 15%. Wow.